Hello, everyone. We are live today. Here we are with Brendan, Dallin, and Kate, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about marketing madness. So we all know that March Madness is going on right now, but March Madness isn't all about basketball. It's one of the biggest marketing opportunities of the year. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the advertisements that have been played so far this season. And then also, we'll be talking about some brands that have partnered with some of the players to really promote their brand. So, the first commercial that we're going to be watching is the Geico commercial. And my husband's super into March Madness. So, if you're super into March Madness, then you probably heard this ad play probably 15 times throughout the weekend. So, you're probably well aware. But here we go.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Did the little piggy cry wee, wee, wee all the way home?
I'm sold. I want Geico.
Max.
Wait, so they're playing that this year again?
Wait, they replayed this ad?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I'm all for it. I'm honestly all for it.
Old creative. This is not like new creative. That's like a 10-year-old ad. Like that.
Oh, plus. Yeah, do you see his fashion? That's like early 2000s.
That's crazy.
Yes, so this ad was first premiered in 2010, I believe, so 15 years ago. And this year they decided to replay the ad. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on like replaying ads in general? Do you think it's a good marketing strategy? Like, do you think that, I don't know, people should not do this? What are your thoughts?
Nostalgia sells. Everybody loves nostalgia. Like you think about those things you grew up watching TV, like that brought back memories of me sitting and watching ESPN with my dad, him yelling at the Jazz always losing and seeing those ads in between everything. Like it's just part of the, I don't know. Geico is like one of the best with their ad creative. So I think it's a good idea as long as it's been long enough to wait between. Now it does kind of open up the potential of you getting stale and then like, oh, you have no new ideas. So recycle something from 15 years ago. But in this context, that's a pretty long time that I think it's okay. That's about when styles start to circle back, I think 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Hey, if it works, it works. Like it's their content. So why not use it? Whether they use it 20 years from now, like a year afterwards, like to me, it's like the same thing with social paid advertising is that ad creative, there's ad fatigue, meaning like the ad stops working. But ad fatigue can mean you take a break from that ad creative and then you can revisit it down the road. I laughed. I think it's funny. I think it can be effective. And it's like, it's their IP, like if people are going to not like it, but we do it all the time in different forms, especially nowadays with social media being a primary form of marketing. But Kate, yeah, what do you think on this?
Yeah, I guess my concern watching this, if I were Geico, or what I would be nervous about if I was on their PR team, is if we would get any criticism calling us like lazy or this isn't creative enough or this is just like I don't know. It would maybe feel like a cop out, but I genuinely feel like this ad is so creative that it really is just like recycling the genius. And I think there's a lot of like good ads out there that people like. I think about Old Spice. Kind of when I saw this, I thought about the good Old Spice commercials that I think people would love to see those back on their TV again. Cause like you were saying, Brendan, nostalgia is something that I think especially millennials really like. I feel like that's like a characteristic. Well, love nostalgia, and they're like the perfect age for if this was released 10 years ago. Then you're right, Brendan. It brings back those childhood memories. So I think.
I mean, like put in context too. Like you said, nostalgia, but also like generational shift. 15 years ago is like before any like the people that are buying Geico for their insurance 15 years ago could have been underage,
right?
And not the demographic. And so this ad to them is completely new. Mm-hmm. And I comment on the fashion. The fashion is, hey, it's kind of timeless maybe, but it's the reason why they completely are redoing the Harry Potter series of movies as HBO Max Max series, because it's been like 20 some years. So it's a whole new generation. Star Wars, same thing. Lord of the Rings, same thing. It's repurposing IP for a new generation. And so in a very small form, Geico, hey, like if the ad works, why not do it? Even if it gives them, quote, like negative PR, like it gives them attention, and that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I like how you hit on like the nostalgia of all of that. Because one of my favorite like Super Bowl ads this year, and I think we hit on it on a former episode, but was the Instacart ad. And basically in this ad, they had a bunch of like just mascots from like previous, well, just brands in general. Like the Energizer Bunny was in there, like the Green Giant. There was all of these different brands, and people loved this commercial just because it brought back so many memories of like watching commercials in like 2010 or just like 10 years ago. And yeah, I kind of like it when brands like do that. I don't know about like replaying like an entire ad. I like parts of an ad, like just like hitting on like parts of an ad that was like super popular like a while ago. But I mean, this one seemed to work well for them. I mean, a lot of people thought that it was annoying from like my community of people, just because of the pig and everything. But I mean, that's what commercials are most of the time. They want people to talk about them. So, and that's definitely what people are doing with this commercial.
Love it.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Brendan.
No, I said love it. I just agree. It's on to the next.
All right. So, one of the BYU players this year, BYU made it to the Sweet 16. And one of the biggest things, I know most of us are here in Utah or like in the surrounding areas. So it's like pretty exciting.
Who's BYU?
BYU?
What is BYU?
Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. So I know, just a super small school. But one of their really great players, Richie Saunders, his great grandfather actually founded Tater Tots. He invented Tater Tots, and then founded the brand Ore-Ida. Ore-Ida, I guess. Yeah. So they basically like gave Richie Saunders an NIL deal. So, anyways, I thought this was really interesting. And Ore-Ida actually gave for the 2 games that BYU has won, they actually gave customers for like a 30-minute break. They gave them free tater tots that they could order online, which was very interesting. So I have this article here that I can pull up so I can kind of show you this. But I mean, it was crazy. I didn't try it, but
this is textbook like best practices in every form. I feel like
yes.
It's like keeping it in the family, you know. Like it's so funny, and this ad creative is fascinating because like
Hey, Richie,
the weirdest like grainy photo. It looks like it was taken in '85. Like, but I don't know. It's kind of fun though. Like,
yeah.
Do you guys like tater tots? I like tater tots.
Oh, I love tater tots.
I like my tots.
Share your tots, man. Freak Napoleon.
Yes.
I was waiting for some of you guys to say something like that.
Honestly. I think this is a super interesting approach. I feel like with a brand like Ore-Ida, I would say more or less it's like a household name. Maybe you don't recognize it by the name itself, but I'm sure a lot of people have seen the packaging. And with a lot of companies that, I don't know, are in grocery stores and a lot of people are familiar with, your competition isn't necessarily getting your brand out there for the first time in front of new eyes, but it's just establishing relevance. And that's when, you know, you see a lot of collabs with, I don't know, Doritos and Marvel and other food brands doing different things. But I think that for Ore-Ida, this is super, super creative. And especially the free, giving anything away for free automatically just establishes so much like brand love and appreciation. So I think this was a super creative way of staying relevant.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, I was on Twitter like all weekend, just like catching up on like scores or whatever. And I think like I saw this tweet and it was saying that at least like the last 1,000 tweets from Ore-Ida have been involving March Madness, which I thought was interesting too. Because I'm curious, because I mean, I don't follow Orida on like Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So I'm curious to see like, I mean, and I haven't looked back, but like, I wonder how much promotion they're doing outside of this. Because it doesn't seem like they're doing that much. Because like you said, Kate, like with like name brand, like grocery store brands, like they don't really have to do that because people will go to the grocery store and they're probably going to buy Orida tater tots no matter what, because that's like the main brand for it. So I don't know how much like social media content they have to do in order to sell their product.
I feel like the one thing with potatoes, though, compared to other types of products, is I feel like that's such an easier grab than most, because most people are down to hit it. So like try a new brand of potatoes, and when they see something like that, like it's just a lot easier connection. I feel like they're gonna have a way better ROI on their ad than Geico would, in my mind. Or you think of like some other types of brands because it's cheap, it's small, it's a very easy product to like, oh, that's fun. Like, and I just read a random thing. Orida means Oregon, Idaho.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Nice.
So Oregon, Idaho.
Or you just
potatoes.
realized.
I didn't know that. I don't even know how to pronounce
I don't know.
it.
Or
Okay.
Ida, or Oregon and Idaho. They're right next to each other.
Well, I'm not from that part of the world. I would have never thought like that. I was like, well, this is a random freaking name.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Did someone tell you this like growing up?
No,
Kate?
like when I heard this brand, that was the first thing I thought of. Was like,
Really?
oh, it's
That is funny.
Or/Idaho.
Oh, so you knew. Well, they do that in places. I mean, I went to Tahoma High School, and Tahoma is 3 of the cities around that area. So that happens often, but yeah, no, it's such a unique name though. Like I never knew that. And even then, like I don't think I've ever pronounced that out loud. I recognize the branding and the colors, but I'm like, it's such a weird name. It's not like the visual reference is more memorable, but the nostalgia hit of that visual makes sense. And I think that can be effective, but it's also kind of meta, at least for me, because I know the context of the story, but they call him like heir, like heir to that dynasty kind of thing. And so it's fun and clever for those who get it. And so I guess the same thing could be said around the Geico ad, is like, for those who get it, for those who know that it was a previous ad years ago. But yeah, to me, I think the Geico one hits like more significant for me because I have more of an emotional connection to remembering that commercial, when it was first aired. I don't really buy much of the other brand, but yeah, I think I have Geico for my auto insurance at least. So they got me at some point.
You just funded this podcast in depth.
Yeah, you get our affiliate link down below, which we don't have. I don't even think they do an affiliate program. Do they? They may.
I would be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. It's interesting though, because like they're both playing on a nostalgia in a way, to try and like persuade their audience. But I think one's like family and one's just trying to reach back to you growing up. So it's kind of a different type of fascinating thing. But also Orida is owned by Kraft now, so it's not like, or Heinz Kraft, so it's not like a small company by any means. That is like the definition of corporate. So anyway,
the corporate overlords. Yep.
Our private equity overlords who we know and love.
Well, cool.
Awesome.
What's next?
Okay. Yes. So we can go over a couple other ads from from March Madness. Let's pull some up. This was just on Ad Week. They provided some like pretty good ones. This one was with Home Depot. So let's watch this one. Oh,
How to deliver big.
Great to have you on the team, Sabrina. Are you ready to deliver big?
Like a little crossover step back. Dagger 3 to win, am I right?
Not quite. Hello.
Shaq, you got your hardwood delivery. It's on its way.
I know I can count on you.
Fans hate it when you can't deliver at home. So when do I get my apron?
Shaq is a representative for like every single company out there. the amount of different ads I've seen. I mean, I used to work for the cruise lines, and he was like, I think they gave him like a fake title of some kind of like entertainment consultant or whatever for Carnival Cruise Lines, which is one of like our family of brands when I worked there in corporate. And like he had this whole, like he was in a whole series of ads there. Like I've seen him do ads for all these different industries, and he owns dozens and dozens of companies. So it's just funny. Like he just makes me smile when I see him, because I grew up with him playing for, you know, the Lakers and stuff. And I had his playing cards. And so Shaq to me is just kind of that big teddy bear kind of guy that he's like, he kind of has always a smirk going on. So, I mean, no matter what he's selling, not that I mean, I go to Home Depot just out of convenience. But yeah, it's not like I'm like so overly sold, but I think it's effective to the context of Shaq is like an NBA icon. It's March Madness, right? So I think there's that side where it creates that a moment of attention, whether people remember what's actually being talked about or not in the ad.
Yeah, I like it. I like the simplicity of the ad itself. Like it's not a very complicated ad to put together, and it's fun. And also the script writing had some innuendo that was funny that only the big kids will get, and I think that is sometimes some of the most fun. And that it sticks in your mind because you're just like, that was a funny joke that I will never tell anyone. Like I don't know when I would ever bring up that joke now, but it's funny, and I appreciated that they said it in the ad. So I just think entertainment value is high, and Shaq was like my favorite player growing up too. So I always had that like affinity for him, for being the worst free throw shooter and yet the beast
but the biggest man. Have you seen his shoe size? Oh,
like 16.
Massive.
Isn't it like a 16, 18, something like that?
I think I'm trying to remember. I think I've seen it in real life. If I'm trying to remember, I was in Florida at a hockey game, and for some reason they had like a feature of all these NBA shoes and athletes, and I think they had his shoes on display, and it's like I could fit like 2 babies in his shoe. It was insane.
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
I would use his shoes as a crib to answer your question that you're all thinking.
Shaq.
Used.
That's his next that's his
right.
next thing is a used Shaq shoe.
It probably smells like flowers, you know. He probably
for the mag.
is. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, exactly.
probably more comfortable than half the pack in place for sale on the market, honestly.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so I mean, hey, I think it's effective, right? But hey, we don't have the data, so we don't know for sure. But to me, I think it definitely works to tap into that type of nostalgia still. You know, he's long since retired, yet he's going to keep people coming back because it's Shaq. Like there's some random guy in a warehouse who just calls him Shaq. You know, it's kind of like calling Walt Disney Walt. You know, it personalizes it that he feels like the approachable guy.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's always funny to me with these like celebrity endorsements. You can always tell, even if you don't know who the celebrity is, you know it's a celebrity endorsement just because their like line delivery is a little flat, like maybe not the best acting you've ever seen. It's like,
They've actually never used the product until that moment. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just pretty funny.
The funniest part, I mean, to go on that tangent though, is like, especially when they do food products, you've got like a really fit person who's eating a fast food burger. I'm like, they took a bite and then spit it in the spit bucket next to them. Like they've never actually swallowed food from that restaurant or that product.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a couple years ago, they had Kim Kardashian do a commercial for like a fake meat company or like a vegan meat company. And the commercial kind of got torn apart because she like, at one point she like takes a bite of the burger, but if you zoom into the shot, you see that she's just like fake biting it and she's not like, there's no food in her mouth. So yeah.
Yes.
Food companies when you're tapping into celebrity endorsements.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, that sounds like a Kim Kardashian thing to do. But I was also going to mention, because I mean, I feel a lot of like nostalgia when I like listen to the Home Depot like jingle too. And I feel like a lot of people do, because I mean, it's been the same for, I mean, I don't know how long Home Depot has been in business, but like, I mean, hundreds of years probably. Well, probably not hundreds, but like, you know.
A couple, yeah, probably 20.
Did you say Home Depot hundreds of years?
Yeah,
yes,
Home
I did
Depot's been around
hundreds,
longer
but
than
more
the
like
United
50.
States. It's pre-Columbian. Like,
Yeah, I have no idea, but I like to think it's 100 years old.
They were chucking
Yes.
cobblestones. They were shelling out cobblestones. And,
Home Depot founding.
no, I don't want to fact check this. I want to live in that like
1978.
Dang.
Yeah. Hundreds of months ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I was thinking that it was like, I don't know, an older brand than that. Like at least like 60s or 70s. Oh, well, I guess 70s, but
Yeah, 70s. It makes sense. You look at the branding, the color choice, it's like total 70s,
yeah.
early 80s vibe.
Bright orange.
Yeah.
And they haven't changed it really, have they?
No, hey, these OG pictures, it looks the same to me, the same orange apron. And I mean, that, when it becomes iconic to that type of visual.
It's literally the exact same everything.
Yeah.
Logo, everything. That is wild to have.
Good on them. And then they get Shaq bringing it back.
Yes.
Love it.
Well, cool.
All right. Do we want to look at another ad or should we end for the day?
Let's go and wrap up here. That's a good
Okay.
wrapping point.
It's a good spot.
Sounds good. Well, let us know what your favorite ads have been so far this March Madness season. Let us know in the comments. If you're not listening to this live, still let us know in the comments and we'll respond to you. But yeah, everybody have a great week and a great March Madness season. And we will
Marketing Madness. Woo!
Yes, Marketing Madness.
All right. Sweet.
Keep smiling as it goes live. Off. There. Oh, we didn't do the outro.